So I had a call with a swimmer today, and she has competed in the Olympics. She's an absolute stud. And she told me a story about a time when she was getting ready for Olympic trials. And she called him a guy who had set a world record at 17 years old in the Olympics for swimming. And she told him that she's addicted to winning and she's struggling with this idea of wanting these results so badly. And he said, addicted to winning, that's an interesting way to put it. He said, every time that I get back into every time I get into the water, all that I'm trying to do is increase my love affair with the water. What an amazing way to say that. I'm just trying to increase my love affair with the water. Think about the difference in intention there. You're concerned about status or ego or whatever it is. He's just trying to increase his love affair with the water. It symbolizes perfectly the idea of joy over duty. When it's all about duty, it's a job for you. You're so focused on an outcome. He's just focused on his process. He's just focused on feeling the water, on engulfing himself in the water, on being in the present. Optimal performance comes from a ruthless commitment to the present moment and to the things that are in your control. And so I thought that was an inspiring example of present moment focus. And here's the other part of this. We all want results, no doubt. But what we have to understand is that the results are nothing but a byproduct of the process that we have in place. And so with that, we should choose to experience this moment. We are playing baseball. We are playing football. We are a kid swimming in the water. It's a childlike act. It's a kid's game. It's a kid's sport. And when you see it through that lens, we're not working baseball. We're playing baseball. It's applicable to every sport. But this childlike instinct is what we are all trying to get back to. That's the root of all our creativity, is childlikeness. And so as we embrace that childlikeness and we just engulf ourselves in the generous present moment, you actually get better results for it. How do you detach? How do you surrender? You get back to being a kid again. You get back to loving the game that you once loved so much. And like this individual says, who set a world record, who competed against people like Michael Phelps, just an absolute stud. He's trying to increase his love affair with the water. Powerful. Now, the second takeaway, she asked him, like, what's the number one thing he ever took from his coach? And he said that it was to have autonomy and ownership over his process. So the reason she shared that with me is I sent her a podcast this morning about agency. It's from a guy named Naval Ravikant. I'll link it in the show notes below. To define agency, it's the capacity, power, or ability of a person to act independently, to make their own choices, to exert influence over outcomes. It's a powerful trait to embody, to have. If you're going to have a core principle, if you're going to have a set of core principles, I would say to include agency. It's the willingness to take your career into your hands and go and get it, right? The capacity, power, or ability of you to act independently, to make choices, and to exert influence over your own outcomes. Powerful. And so here is this individual who set a world record at 17 years old, saying the number one thing he ever learned was to take ownership over his process, basically. And the reason this is so powerful is when I talk to athletes, I'm a firm believer that anybody who gives you a cookie cutter approach is somebody you should run away from, honestly. So, because the reason being, I think that everybody's unique. If this is an artistic act, everybody's unique and nobody's you, and that's your superpower. And so if that's the case, if you are unique and an individual, then honestly, I think that you should have your own process. The things that I bring are just a bunch of reference points from a bunch of other people. But how do you have more ownership over your process? You take what you like, you leave what you don't, you iterate, you iterate, you iterate. It's not 1,000 hours, it's 1,000 iterations. And over these iterations, you figure out what works for you. And once you figure out what works for you, you have more ownership over it, you have more conviction in it, which naturally makes you more confident. There's this video of Pete Crow Armstrong, who's an all-star for the Cubs, and they ask him, what advice do you have for a younger kid? And he said, I hope you be exactly who you are. I'm going to link the video here, but he says, I hope you be exactly who you are.
For the kids that want to be like you, what would you tell them?
I hope you be exactly how you are supposed to be. I think I've dealt with, trying to emulate other people and focusing a little bit less on myself and what makes me great and unique. And I think that is so important for kids that play this game or don't. Just understand that, there's so much to offer, and everybody's so nice and unique in their own individual way.
Everybody is so unique and so special in their own way. And so what's our biggest takeaways from today? It's to get a checkup from the neck up in a way on what your intention is. What is your intention every time you step on the field? Every time you get in the water, every time you show up to your job? Is it to get an outcome always, to get a result? Or is it to increase your love affair with whatever you are doing? Is it to commit to the process and learn through it? Is it to be eager to take the smallest step forward and continue to collect information? If we can shift our intention to a growth mindset, to being grateful, to being present, to just experiencing this opportunity in this sport, I think that it puts you in a better position to be successful. And then the other takeaway is to have some agency. Once again, I'm going to link that podcast in the show notes below from Naval Ravikant, but have some agency, take some ownership over your process. It's not 1,000 hours, it's 1,000 iterations. And if you're going to iterate, it takes you constantly checking in on your process and figuring out what is working, what is not working, and not being judgmental. Being judgmental is going to be the thing that holds you back. Non-judgmental awareness, collecting information and iterating on that information is what is going to take you to where you want to go. So appreciate you being here. This is a quick hitter. If you enjoyed this, send this to somebody that needs to hear it. This podcast is free. This information is free. And the reason that I want to put this out is to help somebody who needs it. When I was a younger guy, I didn't have anybody that would help me. I remember being at Arizona State as a freshman, and these people looked at me like I was an alien because I was struggling so bad. I was so down bad. You look back at old pictures, my skin's rough, my lips are chapped, I'm not eating, I'm not drinking water. I was in such a bad spot. And all I needed was somebody to tell me to have some agency, to take some ownership over my process, to love the game of baseball again, to increase my love affair with this game, to have all these things I talk about. That's why I make this podcast. So I'm just asking you, if you enjoy this, please do your part. We are all a community of people that are pushing our mental game forward. If you enjoy this, just share it with somebody who needs to hear it. Appreciate you. Stay in process and keep hammering. See ya.